Back with another Friday night flashback. I decided to play Arch Rivals. I used to be really good at this game and used to play it a lot better than what you'll see on the gameplay that I just played. I was lucky to actually win. This game is kind of like NBA Jam before there was an NBA Jam. Of course, the only thing that you can really do in the game is you can punch and knock people down instead of like on NBA Jam where you can push them. And also on NBA Jam you have turbo and things like that. On this game you don't have that. The referee's blind, so if you get too close to him for any length of time, he can trip you. Also, after the half, there's some like concessions and stuff on the floor. Those can trip you up as well. And so you have to watch out for things like that. The game's not really too long to play. It's a short little basketball game. As you can see, there's 8 players to pick from. Depending upon who you pick, you get the same teammate every time. You'll get the same teammate every time. Like from where I picked Blade, I'll have, I think it's Tyrone as my teammate every time, and the person I play against is the same team every time. It's Mohawk, and I think Reggie's the other one. But a lot of times, even throughout, I'd play different teams and things like that, and my opponent would almost always Hawk unless I picked somebody else to play as, and then it would be whoever else that opponent is. So whoever you pick is that the people that you play with are the people that are against you. Well, are the people that are there every time that you play the game. I like the game. I still do. It's definitely different for its time period and kind of innovative. I wish they would have done a little bit more with the gameplay instead of just picking 2 teams and they have the same matchups all the time. So instead of having that, could have had a little bit more. But, I see they were trying to keep it simplistic, and they were trying to keep it down to a science to where it's kind of a pick up and play that you could play on the game. 1 button shoot, 1 button passes. Make sure you get rid of the ball before you get hit, before you get punched, or shoot it. The dunking kind of works kind of weird on the game too. Of course, you can see the backboard breaks about half of the time. There's not a whole lot to say about the game. Like I said, it's very simple. It was in arcades for a long time, and it was ported to different systems, the Nintendo being the most notable. At the arcade, you still had the same matchups that you have on the home console, but excuse me. And the arcade owners had a chance to fix the game up the way they would like it, and they could add high school teams. They could add like high school or college teams names into the game instead of like Brawl State, Natural High, Chicago, and Los Angeles. You'd have other teams, like it would be the more localized teams, and that was pretty interesting because they actually made the from what I remember, they made the outfits match like the high school or whatever it was that they were that they had on there. So they were able to do that, which did add some dynamic to the game. When this was out at the arcade, I think you had to insert more quarters to play more quarters in the game. Like if you wanted to play a full game, I think you had to actually put in whenever it was 25 cents. When it was 25 cents, I think you only had to put in 4 quarters, and then I think some of the places moved them up to like 50 cents, and I think that was probably about 8 quarters. So, you definitely would have to pump in the quarters whether you were winning or not. And like I said, if any of this is wrong, please let me know, because like I said, I'm trying to remember something that happened some odd years ago, and I'm lucky to remember anything about it, because it's like my memory is not as good as it used to be. It used to be really good, and now it's not as good. So, but it's one of those games that I like it. I still to this day like it. Even though I have trouble winning with it now, I still like it. It's still something that's fun to pick up and play. A little bit of and it can be either a time killer, or it can be a like if you just want to play through something real quick. It's just something that you can get out there, and that you can play, and that you can pick up and play. And like I said, even younger kids can pick up and play this game. I mean, some would say, "Oh, it's a little bit too violent." And it's not. It's not really that violent. I mean, there was more games that were more violent than this, and this is just you see this stuff going on anyway. I mean, anymore. Just it's just kind of it was weird at the time to see a game that was like this, where there were no rules, no fouls or anything like that. But just they just wanted to get something out there and make it to where oh, it's basketball. It's something that people can relate to. They always tried to make games that were relatable, that people knew something about. And sports happens to be one of those things that a lot of people know about. Not everybody, but a lot of people. And so they were like, well, we'll capitalize on this, and we'll try to make a basketball game. We'll try to make some other ones later. And like I said, other basketball games later on are they're more advanced, and the graphics and stuff are better. But everybody's got to start from somewhere. You all have to start from somewhere, and this is where they chose to start that at. So, but I like the game. I think it's good. If you ever get a chance, you ought to just give it a try. Try it out. See what you think of it. And until next time, we will see you later.